You're on the record.
I'd like to call the November 7th, 2024 Parks and Rec regular meeting to order. If we can all stand for the Pledge of Allegiance. If we can have roll call, please.
Chair Winooski,
Here.
LaRisha, Graham,
Here.
Stevens,
Here.
Jonas,
Here.
Bernard,
Here.
Fisher. You have a quorum.
We're going to move on to election of a vice chair. Do we have a motion to appoint a new vice chair?
I move to appoint Kyle Graham.
We need a second. I will second.
Anybody? Do we have a unanimous consent?
Someone would have to request it.
I request unanimous consent for the nomination.
Then ask if there's any objections.
Is there any objections? Seeing none, we welcome our new vice chair. Moving on to agenda approval, is there a motion to approve the agenda as presented?
I'll move to approve the agenda as amended, or as presented.
Second?
Is there any revisions to the agenda? Seeing none, the agenda is approved. Moving on to scheduled public comment, and there is none. So move on to unscheduled public comment. Is there anybody that is unscheduled from the public that would like to say anything? Anybody remotely? Seeing none. Moving on to approval of the minutes. May I have a motion to approve the October 3rd, 2024 minutes?
I move to approve the minutes for October 3rd, 2024.
I second.
Are there any revisions to the minutes? Seeing none, the minutes are approved. Moving on to unfinished business. And we have none. So we will move on to new business and discuss, I guess, call for a staff report.
All right, so as we're coming up on the end of the year, I've attached the work plan goals that were approved by council for the commission to follow and everything. So how that works is at the end of the year, there's another form that is attached in here on page 8. and it kind of gives the commission annual report where you'll give a summary of the report and kind of break down if the goals were achieved, how they were achieved, and how you guys did. Also going to ask our clerk to maybe speak to it a little bit, if I didn't say that great or not, but since you are here.
Thank you. Through the chair. So in 2023, the council approved this work plan because we were hearing a lot back from commissions that they didn't feel that they were inputting. So we've developed the work plan. You guys decide what projects you want to work on early in the year. Last year was our first year, 2024, and it took everybody a little longer to do their work plans. We're hoping to get them done by February, so you actually have the year to work on them. But part of this process also at the end of the year is one of the commission members gets to write the report summarizing what got accomplished from your previous year's work plan and which projects that you guys are going to want to move forward. The reason we don't start developing the work plan until January is because terms end in December, so technically you start a new session in January. Whether we have reappointments or new appointments, it's a good idea to make sure it's the body that's going to be working on it for the whole year or the ones in place. So at this time, it's time to do that report so we can send it to council so they are aware of where you guys are on your work plan and your goals and what you are kind of anticipating moving forward into next year's work plan and goals. Any questions for me?
So just to review for me, basically the plan is what we're going to do, and the report is what we did and how we did it.
That is correct.
Okay.
And so one of the goals in this discussion item is for the commission to appoint someone to write the report. And that member can also reach out to me and I can meet with them. But it is your guys' report, but I'll happily assist on that and go through the work plan.
That way you could provide, I don't necessarily, a person writing this might not necessarily have all the notes about what happened and how it got accomplished. And so that's, you would help provide details. I assume that's what you're saying?
Yeah, we could go through it, and I'll give the example. I'll happily meet with the commissioner on how we try to meet these, because it's not all perfectly fit, but like we asked to tour parks and trails twice annually, and we did a park tour, and then we offered a tour of our rec center when it was still closed down. And then with objective 3, capital improvement plan, I think we did a work session and then we voted on it. So if you guys, like, say, going into next year, it'd be like, oh, we do want to meet on that before the summer too, because we kind of talked about that. We could say, hey, we partially achieved this goal because we didn't have 2 big work sessions on the capital improvement plan. We just had 1. And then going forward, development of long-term goals, I think through some of our discussions, we have done that. You guys have supported the master plan. You guys have reviewed the CIP plan. Again, in this FY25, there was funding approved for a master plan, so I think that supports this goal a lot. And it's not saying that, I think several of these goals could be reintroduced for the next year too, because I think they're good annual goals that gets the whole commission out in the parks, and have repeat goals where we can have meetings every year and review these goals and like mission of the commission. I just want to double check. Commissioner Jonas, can you hear us?
I can, yes.
Okay.
And I do have a question. Did objective number 2 not get approved and that's why it's not in this plan?
That is correct. It was not approved. Yep. That's why, yeah, that's why I didn't attach it in here, because it wasn't approved by council. So these were the 3 goals that were approved.
Okay, thank you.
I guess I'm not understanding I guess all laid out here pretty well. I don't know what you're looking for someone else to write a report to send to council?
Yes, I will ask the clerk to fill in if I don't answer this 100%. With that, no, it's, since this is the commission's goals and you guys set them on how you think these goals, how you achieve these goals as a body. And then you'll do a report to council, so council can read through, and every commission will have someone who will basically be like, we completed our goal of touring the parks. Let's say, if you want to say fully or partially, because there was a work session where we toured all the parks, and there was another work session where there was a tour of a park and rec facility. And I don't know if in that report, if there'll be like how we would improve on this on the future, or if we want to probably do this goal again the following year, because it helped us see the parks for planning and the capital improvement plan.
I have another question. I believe the clerk said that one of our goals was to write a report, and I don't see that that's in our goals and objectives. Am I missing something where we've said we'd like to write a report about this?
Thank
that's-
you.
Huh?
Through the chair, the process that was approved by the council was that each commission would develop a work plan in the beginning of each year, and at the end of each year, each commission would report back to the council what on their work plan got accomplished and what would be rolling into the next year. So this is the check and balance between the council and the commissions.
Okay, so it was a council expectation, not one of our goals. That's what I thought you said earlier, that it was
Yes.
within our goals, so it's not there. Okay, thank you.
Thank you.
And Commissioner Jonas, just so you know, Shelley is here. You can't see her because she's not on the dais, but she is here.
Yeah, thank you.
The request is on the template on page 8 in our packets. Is that what we're hoping to add add a summary of our accomplishments in this, using this as a template?
That is correct.
And again, whoever gets picked to write the report, I'll happily work with too, and we can make sure, like when we develop, when you guys were developing the work plan, I think to save some time and everything, like I think I met with former Commissioner Savala. Yeah, that's right, council member Sylvan Casena. And where we went through the report and we were able to kind of consolidate all the notes, and that kind of helped. So if you guys appoint someone to write this report, I'll happily meet with them and guide them on this process as it's our first year, but making sure it's your guys' like kind of thoughts on the report too.
What was the timeline for this activity being completed?
There's no set timeline. At the end of the year, the commission should be reporting back to the council what their accomplishments, so we're coming up at the end. So the goal of putting this on your agenda was whoever's selected would be able to draft the report for the commission to review and approve at their December meeting, so it could be submitted to the council in early January.
And I'd also like to thank the whole commission, because I think we were actually the first commission to finalize our work plan. And we are the first commission to do this part of it too. So we are the trailblazers, which I will say also, though, it has been helpful to some of the other commissions, because even the example of everyone had thoughts, everyone had notes, and I was like, oh, I met with our vice chair at the time, and we were able to compile them, and with that one-on-one, not violating like public meeting acts, but being able to have all the notes and just be able to sit down one-on-one helped a lot, and I think that helped some other commissions get through this process. So we would do that again. But we are the trailblazers right now, so I really appreciate it, and I think it's great, the Parks Commission. We got our work plan done first, and now we're reviewing it first as well.
Well, I can sure take a stab at it if the rest of the commissioners concur. I'm not entirely sure what the expectation is, but if it's never been done before, I guess we can make that what we want. So I'll volunteer for this, for the first ever report.
Yeah, and there's no motion that needs to be made or anything, so Commissioner Graham, I'll reach out to you after this meeting, and we'll set a time to maybe like get together and review this. This is also a good time, I think, if any commissioners have any notes. Like, I will say, I think one thing that will get reported on is we didn't have 2 work sessions on the capital improvement plan. I think one of those things was probably we really worked on developing this work plan for the first year, so I think it would be easy to say that was just partially accomplished, but we're going to plan on doing that in the future and developing our work plan faster in the future. So I think that's just like one example. So I want to hear from the commission, if you guys have any notes that we can bring to that meeting when I meet with Vice Chair Graham, that'd be very helpful.
Anybody have any comments over? That's much appreciated, and being the first to volunteer, and vice chair, that's awesome. I think we'll move on to, I guess we're at reports again, and do you have another report?
Yeah. All right, as I think I told the commission last time, I'm always going to try to attach my mid-month report. It always feels a little delayed because this is my mid-month report that went to council mid-October, so it's my September report. But some of the things that we did coming out of the fall is we co-hosted the Kenai River Marathon with the Kenai Chamber on the last Sunday of the month, September 29th. That's always a really fun event. I don't think the chamber knows it yet or any of the racers, but we will be actually changing probably a route on that course. That when there's a pathway that goes along the bluff that may be closing in the near future. So that might change the merit of the course a little bit. On October 7th, we had closures in September with the rec, but on October 7th, the Kenai Rec Center opened for its winter hours. We have summer and winter hours, it's now open Monday through Friday, 6 a.m. to 10 p.m., on Saturday from 8 a.m. to 10 p.m., and then on Sunday, 1 to 5. And so the gym floors are redone, the locker, there's pictures on the back page that will show the epoxy floor that got done all through grant funding, which was really amazing. It's one continuous floor. I took a picture of a closet and the showers because those were different floors and several different pieces of tiles and cement. So it looks amazing. If you haven't been in the facility, it looks very wonderful. And we've gotten great feedback from the public. So it's one of those projects that were really great. Our former fire chief wrote a grant that we were able to get those funds, and it was really amazing to get that all done and buttoned up. And then on October 12th, we had our annual Fall Pumpkin Festival, and it may have been the worst day to have it. We found out our tents we use can survive some wind. Some porta potties blew over. Someone sent me a picture of them, and I think I responded that they were unused. So we were able to tilt them up and get them anchored. Yeah. So, but no, actually, so yeah, no badness in it, but we were able to get them tipped it up and cleaned up for the event. But when someone sent me a picture, What I noticed was the tents were still up in the background with how high the winds were going. We did get the porta potties cleaned up and everything properly, and they were actually able to be used for the event, and they were well anchored down. But for a really rainy day, I think we normally have between 1,000 and, 1,200 people that attend this event. I think we were at 500 plus still. And we put up walls the day of because the rain was blowing sideways. Walmart showed up and was doing pumpkin painting. We had our maze. Vice Mayor Naxted dropped a pumpkin from the fire truck, and a bunch of people he hit the target. A big splash happened. We still have to post that on Facebook. But it's such a fun event. It's become so big the last several years. So when it is freezing cold, myself and Assistant Director Brown were freezing. I think we were warming up in our trucks, and there were heated jackets and things like that. But it was a really, really cool event, and we had a lot of local community members and local businesses there who provided free activities for kids. Again, Home Depot came and did crafts. They kind of signed up in the 11th hour, but people loved it. And K Beach Elementary did face painting. Salvation Army always does an activity. We had a mermaid booth, but there wasn't a mermaid, but they had games. It was just, again, our park staff helped serve hot chocolate. We had a Marine recruiter that showed up and helped us pick up the event and helped facilitate putting pumpkins out for the kids. And then the library gives out pumpkins a week before, and we do a pumpkin painting contest, a no-carve contest. And that was huge. That was like our bulk of the push. I think we had like 70+ pumpkins in that thing. And there were some really cool designs, and we have 4 age categories, and it was really fun to see the creativity. And I know my kids came and they were there for about 13 minutes, but they got there early and hit every activity. And my wife's like, "We're going home," but they had a blast for those 13. They did not come back and watch the pumpkin drop, which I was bummed about, but that's always fun. The vice mayor goes up in our ladder truck like 50 feet and drops a pumpkin into. We found out a trash can's a little small. Councilmember Dothett did it 2 years ago, and then we added a puddling pool that's a little bit bigger. It's about 3 feet, and it's been hit, so it's been really, really fun.
It's like 6 feet. Come on now.
The pool doesn't always survive, but it was a blast. And then below you have our rec numbers, which are a little low, but we were closed for half the month. We worked really hard on trying to be open to the public. The floor was done because we were closed for most of May. And then so we closed for a week, and then we opened as that floor was setting, and they were prepping the other area, and we used alternative entrances, but we were able to keep the facility. The facility was only closed, I think, for 2 weeks, so that was kind of nice. We were able to stay open a little bit for the start of school and everything. And I'm happy to ask any questions if anyone has any questions on our fall activities out there.
I do have a question. Tyler, what would be considered an other activity for the rec center visit? Just like an example.
That can be a bit of an unknown. We have a hand sign-in sheet. So another activity would be someone signed in, and then our staff member is there running the front, but they're also cleaning the facility, monitoring activities. They aren't always there. So sometimes someone will sign in, and then they might just be there to take a shower, and then we don't catch them, and they didn't circle shower, but we can usually find their punch card, and we're usually more diligent on finding them if we don't find a punch card in the system. But there's a little, then you see there's 0 there. But that would be another activity. It's kind of a miscellaneous, we don't know what they circled. They can circle gym, weight room, and like shower.
Yeah, the rec center looks good, the floors look good, the gym floor looks good. Is there gonna be City League basketball this year?
Yes,
What's the date?
roughly in January is when I think we've normally been starting it the last several years. In the next 2 weeks, we'll have all that finalized for you.
Better start running, okay. Any other questions for Tyler? move on to my report. I was gone for a little while, went to Texas, a couple weeks, missed the last meeting, came back and welcomed the snow. That was delightful. That's about it. I do have a question for, I guess, Alex. I don't know if he would be able to answer it, but me and my coworker were talking about the amount of liquor license that the city has available. Are those limited, or like if another restaurant was to open up, are they able to get one? Do you know?
They are limited. That's run by through the alcohol control, the control board, and there are a limited number. So if somebody were to open another restaurant, they'd have to buy one from somebody else. I don't know of any that are currently for sale, but there's I believe on the state website, I think there's a place where you can look to see if there's any available for sale, but there's a limited number of those. I don't know what the availability is on those right now, but you do have to purchase one. There's different ones too. So you can do beer and wine, but you can't do hard liquor and mixed drinks unless you have a specific type of license for those. And those are limited ones. And same with packaging, sales, and distributing. There's a limited number of those it goes based off of how many people in the area and that kind of stuff.
So that concludes my report. So now we'll go on to your report.
Yes, council had their meeting last night. We assigned a new chair liaisons for the different councils, and now I'm over here and done with planning and zoning, which I'm kind of nice. Only one meeting a month instead of two would be nice. And then it was your previous member's first meeting, so Zavala had his first meeting last night. So we're glad to have him there and glad to see we have a new face on this commission. As far as major occurrences last night, it was mostly just housekeeping. There wasn't any large items on the agenda, some airport leases and some adoptions of different funding increases. The one that we did do the lockers got approved for the annual locker fees at the rec center. I don't know, you guys remember that one was coming around where now we can charge a fee for an annual locker. So that got authorized. So
Just want to point out, there's also still lockers free for day use at the rec center, but for a long-term rental, we implemented a fee.
I thought it would have come through this board first. Probably not. So anyway, that was about it. Nothing too crazy going on the council side yet. Getting ready for, the city did adopt their new healthcare, roughly turned it out another 11% increase this year. Seems like kind of an average. It seems always ticking up, but that's just the way of the times. That's about it. Any other questions, just let me know.
Anybody have any questions for him? I appreciate the report. I'll move on to any additional public comment. Seeing none. The next meeting is scheduled for December 5th. Is anybody planning on being absent or attending remotely that you know of? Moving on, I guess we'll just go to adjournment. Seeing, commission's comment. Anybody have any questions or comments?
I was just going to welcome Sharon Fisher. I've known Sharon for many years, and she's going to be a great member for the Parks and Rec Commission. I've worked with her on a volunteer basis on some things, helping some people out. She was the lead person. I did some of the legwork, and very organized, and she'll be a real good member. So welcome.
Yeah, I just had the opportunity to meet Sharon as well and want to say welcome. And also thank Tyler and his staff for being out there and hosting these activities for the public. Even if the weather's not the greatest, we appreciate your hard work. Thank you.
Yeah, similar comments from me, and welcome Sharon to the commission. And my family attended all the latest event and had rave reviews, and yeah, I think the weather just made it memorable. So people seem to, at least my family, they seem to have a heck of a time at that event.
Right there. Oh, okay, when it's red. I just want to say thank you. I look forward to working with this commission. I don't know much yet, so I'll be very quiet for probably a while. But then I will ask questions. Thank you.
Also, really quick, just like to thank Councilman Graham for stepping up and assuming the role of vice chair and also taking on the report for us.
Anyone on online? Jonas?
No, I don't have any additional comments, but welcome Sharon.
Moving on, we'll move to the adjournment. Seeing no further business today, we'll adjourn till December. Thank you.